Good evening, my name is Robert Vine, and welcome to What Were They Thinking? I'm joined by my co-host, Jesse Angelos, who's now laughing his ass off. Jesse, say hi.
Hello.
We have just started to watch Monday Night Raw, and I'm not going to go into that, but all I'm going to say is I love Old Spice. We are here to talk about three different topics, and we're going to, first off, I want to talk to you about the main topic over the course of about 72 hours. Both of us are international wrestling fans. With the death of the wrestler in AAA in the match with Rey Mysterio, do you feel that things are going to be taken in more precaution of what happens in the wrestling world with that, something like that? Or do you believe it was just a freak accident that somewhere kind of happened?
I think it was a freak accident. And when I was told multiple different stories, but then finally today was told what actually happened. It was a hurricanrana gone wrong. And the dude's neck snapped literally into the end of the ring, the outside the ring, and pretty much snapped and broke his neck and completely died like almost instantly. And when Ray tried to go for a 619, he went above his head with his feet because he realized something was wrong. Because he was just there. He was just limp. If you watch the video, he's limp.
Now, I would like to ask a follow-up question to that. Do you believe that the wrestling community would blame Mysterio for that? Or
I think a lot of people started because if you remember the other day when it actually first started, everything I read was they're blaming Ray. But if you really watch it, it's not his fault. And there's enough footage and there's enough to know that it wasn't his fault.
Just an accident that happened to happen.
Really bad accident.
On behalf of What Were They Thinking and Pro Talk Elite Productions, we would like to extend our condolences to his family and pray that I know you can't get over something like that in 72 hours, but that they take good fortune in knowing that he is in a much better place. We're gonna liven this up a little bit more. The second question I'm gonna ask you, Jesse, going into WrestleMania, would you rank this on a scale of a must-see Mania, or is it kind of a mediocre Mania saved by 2 or 3 matches?
On a scale of 1 to 10, honestly, I really want to see it. I just for Sting alone makes it alone. It's the first Mania you finally get Sting. You're finally gonna see Sting actually compete in WWE. And it's the last piece of the puzzle of what started off Raw, which my buddy here is just finally starting to calm down about.
Yeah, let's not bring that back up.
Yeah, let's not bring it back up. But still, no, I really want to see it. On a scale of the last at least 5 years, it's the first one in a while I've wanted to see, and probably will be the first one in a while that I'm going to probably be at that point as well.
We talked about this previously. I disagree with you in the fact that I think it's a mediocre WrestleMania saved by 2 or 3 matches.
I think the biggest problem with it that takes away of it being maybe even a perfect one is the main title one. Like, are you going to be that convinced if Roman Reigns wins? Are you going to be that convinced? He needs to do it convincing-wise. Otherwise, it makes no sense for him to win it.
The only way I would be thoroughly convinced if Roman Reigns does win...
He's not going to pay off Heyman.
Does win the WWE is a essential screw job. Because I would hate to see a dominant victory by Roman Reigns, because then...
They already talked about that last week, though. It's not going to happen. They even mentioned, it's like, don't even think about doing no kind of Montreal screw job kind of bullshit here.
Well, Heyman said that.
Doesn't matter. It's not going to happen.
Heyman also told Brock Lesnar that there was no way he was going to beat the Big Show at Survivor Series. What happened there? Heyman turned on Brock. There's precedent telling you to watch for it. Also agree with you in the fact that this might be the last Mania that I look forward to for a couple of years until you see the likes of Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn,
until you see the likes of
Neville coming up.
Of the future being a roster. The main roster being the future.
Yeah.
of the NXT guys, of some of the guys that are there, like Rollins and Ambrose, and some of the guys that have traveled and actually worked their tails off and put time. And you got Dolph Ziggler still going. You have Dan O'Brien is the biggest guy there, but it needs to be more of a wave of the future. So yeah, until they're all up, it means nothing.
No, I coined a term about 20 minutes ago of the second generation, next generation.
Yes.
Do you believe that in a situation that now when you're not really competing against anybody, but that's the truth, where it's an evolution where you see
Remember, quiet on the set.
when we see the evolution of like when our first next generation of Michaels, Nash, Hall, Hart. You saw these young kids coming up and trying to
Yes.
reinvent us. Do you see now with this NXT group and a couple on the main roster now, to where you see them doing that?
Yes, I see a future in the roster, and it. I said this to a couple of people the other day, and honestly, a lot of people think that WWE is gonna die in the future, like because wrestling it's getting to a point where it is losing attention, but at the same time, it's still there. I have faith in Triple H once he finally actually takes over the business, because what he's doing with NXT is amazing. If they can bring that up, get those guys up, and the business starts actually going like it is there, I have no problem believing that it's in good hands.
I would like to ask you a follow up question with that. When it comes to that, because we saw the business take a slight
Christ.
dive in the early '90s when you saw a lot of the gimmick characters, like we were talking about the Next Generation era. Do you believe that, say, if you also remember those days, Vince kind of downsized his pay per views, brought him into smaller arenas to build back up the product? Do you think like a Raw at Full Sail at NXT? You think doing something like that would kind of bring a intimacy back to wrestling, to where
Bring
you
more, a
don't
little
see
more
it,
tension.
to where you don't see it in the main. Don't get me wrong, we're watching Raw right now, and the arena's
I'm
filled to
not.
capacity.
I am not. No, I'm not watching Raw right now because it's just a segment that I really do not want to watch.
No, I'm just saying. But as we're watching Raw right now, the arena is filled to capacity.
Oh my god, yeah.
But do you feel that maybe taking a Raw,
Like taking it where it's like at a like a live show quality instead, like more or less like the live shows aren't as big as Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
Like take those, like even up in Scranton.
Yeah.
You know,
taking that down. Do you believe that would help it a little bit more? Kind of bring. I would hate to say the hardcore fan, but bring it the attention to say how you and me look at the business, how it can be fun, because you have a different atmosphere.
you know, it could go either way. It could go wrong and it could go right, but honestly, I I think they could do it. The main idea is that honestly, what they need to do is cut the pay per views. Cut the pay per views. They could move to different arenas. They can make it smaller, and that's a piece of the puzzle. That is a piece of the puzzle. That could make things better. But at the same time, you need to cut the pay per views where it's not as many.
Or instead of cutting the pay per views, like you said,
having a little bit of time off.
Going back to, like, once again, back to that Next Generation of era. Instead of having all these pay per views have names and have this and have that, have them be your generic in your house pay per view with a sub name.
Yes.
So then you can build off a storyline.
Yes.
And not blow it off.
That's one thing that is actually more developing in NXT than is even the main roster. Really, if you look at the main roster, you look at these shows, there really isn't that many storylines. But almost everything on NXT is a story. There is. It's just with more competing than the talking for the most part.
Okay. The one more thing I wanted to ask you about before you go on a little bit of a segue of what we're talking about. Have you heard about the Bill DeMott controversy?
I just actually kind of try and ignore it. I have literally not cared to read anything about it because I don't care.
I do want to get your opinion on it, though, because WWE now is out without a head trainer. Who do you feel would be, if you could pick anybody right now to replace him?
Well, seeing that they have some trainers in their vicinity that know the company, know wrestling enough, and I know one of them, I wouldn't mind him being it.
For instance, Billy Kidman.
Yes, Billy Kidman being the name.
I was thinking of Billy, not Kidman, but I was thinking Billy Gunn would be.
Billy could even do it. I would even
really good head trainer,
because he is a really good trainer. really would love to see him actually officially fully convince Rude to jump ship.
Now, coming to that, one more question about the training thing before we get to another topic. Um, do you feel that the new people that are coming in that they should be trained by what Ring of Honor did, be trained also by the champion at the time in NXT. So not only would you be getting training from Billy Kidman, Billy Gunn, Road Dogg, Jesse James, but also Kevin Owens. Do you think that would show them that a person that they can reach that? Because let's face it, with Billy Gunn, he's been out of wrestling for a couple of
Yes.
years, and not not say on there.
We've seen matches, and I
Yeah,
was at Rumble, and honestly,
but
it's not.
say you coming in
It's
and
not the same.
being trained by like Billy Kidman or Billy Gunn, not as
Training is
you,
a different
yeah,
story.
but being trained only by them, but also by the NXT champion at the time. Would that give you more
That
a ladder look? You know what I mean?
yeah, I'd probably honestly think more. Who is that? Is that rich guy
It's
that they're
no,
talking about?
it's Bill Simmons. It's ESPN.
Someone
Anyway,
who cares. Where were we?
you were saying I was saying being trained by Kevin Owens would give you more
Oh
of a
yeah,
ladder look.
it would train. You got the trainers. It to have the chance to also when you're coming into the company and you're training with the champion. I think it gives you kind of like a bring me upper. Like you feel a little more confident with the thought of you actually being something with the company.
I completely agree. Now, you had mentioned about obviously Robert Roode, one of our favorites from TNA, jumping.
Yes, and Billy Gunn.
He's not,
No, it's just
yeah.
when Billy Gunn was over there, was part of TNA, the whole time when he first met Rude and after the first match, he was so odd that he went up to him and he was like, dude, here's his number. He handed him Vince McMahon's number and told him, you do not belong here. This is where you belong.
No, I have a question now. We're not going to talk contract, but I do want to talk with Samoa Joe rumored to be jumping and signing in signing. Do you think he debuts on main roster? Do you think he goes to NXT?
I think he goes to NXT.
Is he a commodity now, or is he just kind of somebody that's going to be there?
I think that point is probably what's more incentive of now Samoa Joe finally wanting to be a part of it, it being a possibility, is probably for the fact that NXT everybody wants to go to. Everybody wants to be a part of that. It's its own thing because it's that good. So I wouldn't be surprised if Samoa Joe is incentive. So he joins like because you have Kenta there, you have Devitt, he has competition he can relate to,
and people he's worked with.
And people he's worked with.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. To see him face Owens again would be fun for me.
Yeah.
Now because Owens isn't as green as he once was.
Honestly, though, I would love to see him. And I hate Brock Lesnar, but I would love to see him in a match with Brock Lesnar, and not a match, a fight, a just straight up fight.
We are watching Raw at this moment in time. We have the Ascension, Adam Rose, and the Miz's on one side of the ring. I'd love to note that Adam Rose has ripped off Hollywood Hogan's tights against primetime players. Excuse me.
Prime player.
Zack Ryder sighting.
Is that really Zack Ryder? Eric Rowan.
Eric Rowan. And I love Ryback. I know a lot of people. I love Ryback.
Oh, wait. You know what? That's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, it's 10-man tag.
I feel like the person that should be there instead of Adam Rose.
Did he kill the bunny?
Yeah, I have not seen the bunny actually. He kind of like ditched the whole crew, to be honest with you.
No, the crew's right out there.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
No, the bunny kind of got destroyed by Kane and hasn't been seen since. Kane finally did get a hold of him like months ago, and you haven't seen the bunny since.
You see, we haven't seen Pete Rose since either. Do you think they're one and the same?
Only if he gets into the damn Hall of Fame. I'm not talking about the Wrestling Hall of Fame. Only if he gets to the Hall of Fame.
I'd love to say one guy real quick.